Now, this is newly named CFL Commissioner Stewart Johnston. Welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by.
It's my pleasure. I'm very pleased to be here.
First game. This has got to feel a bit surreal for you.
It is. I feel like a rookie coming out of minicamp. I've been on the job for just over 5 weeks, and I've been saying that I'm thankful that I wasn't hired in January and have to wait 5 months for the first game, because I've been itching and raring to go, and I'm super pumped and truly to be here in Regina, in Saskatchewan, to kick off my first ever regular season game as commissioner is pretty special.
I mean, we might be a little bit biased, but this is by far the best place to go on your first real, game day as the commissioner. Now, with that being said, though, building off the 2024 momentum, what do you think are realistic expectations? What are you hoping to accomplish this year?
Well, we're coming off some great metrics from last year. We saw a growth in TV viewership for the second or third year in a row. We've saw some growth in attendance overall. In key markets have shown some attendance growth, which is great. And game day revenue is up. So really good foundation from which we can build off of. If we can have an excellent season, executed flawlessly, I think we're in good shape for 25.
Now, you've mentioned, you've seen increases in audience, in attendance. Now, when we look at some technical issues, some flaws that we've experienced, let's say in the preseason with the streaming on the CFL website, there's been some issues with the stats. What are you planning to do to mitigate that in this season?
Look, if we're going to live up to our reputation as a major professional league, we can't have issues like that happen. We are digging into the CRM of the website, working with our stats partner. I think last year you saw stats become a lot more stable than they were 2 years ago. That has to continue to improve. It has to be better. We can't have our website going down. We just can't. So we've got the right IT folks on it. We're looking at kind of some of the back coding that's going to be well beyond my technical knowledge that was impacted, and make sure we address that going forward.
I mean, you and me both, man. I don't know how any of the back end stuff works, and I know you're only 5 weeks on the job.
I just turned it off and on, I thought that would fix it.
That's what technicians tell me all the time. Did you restart it?
That's right.
But what do you think a realistic timeline would look like for that? I mean, we even saw with the CFL draft, which had to have been very exciting for yourself to be a part of from a different seat, from a different perspective. But that tracker also wasn't working. So is that kind of part of the plan to fix?
It is. I think you're going to see us look at quite an overhaul of the website. Worked hard over the last 7 days and 14 days, hoping that this weekend we've worked out a lot of the bugs. A lot of testing's been done, and we've got to continue that improvement until it's a foolproof system.
On the flip side, when you talk about the preseason games, is it positive that many people are coming to your site that it gets overloaded?
That is a wonderful glass half full way to look at something like that. I'm going to say yes. Thank you for that lead in. I hadn't thought of that one. But it is. It's great that a preseason game is attracting that or preseason games are attracting that much attention. And of course, one of the things that overload the site is it's all games happening at the same time. None or only one of those games broadcast on linear. So the only place to see them is on CFL Plus. And of course, that's what makes it so important that our website is working.
It did seem like the Calgary-Edmonton game, I believe, when it was moved to YouTube, was smooth.
That's
right. Was there
right.
a reason for that?
To achieve that. We knew that moving it to YouTube would fix a problem that we were seeing on the back end. So it was a mitigation strategy. It's great to have a mitigation strategy. We prefer not to have to use it.
Indeed. There's a lot of people out there wondering, we haven't heard this name in a while, but about Shawn Lemon. Do you think that he'll be reinstated in the league anytime soon?
Well, as I think you know, Shawn Lemon is under indefinite suspension. He's eligible to apply for reinstatement on July 4th. And if and when he gets reinstated, there is also a 2-game suspension for under the drug plan program that would have to be served. I think we're going to wait until July 4th or later and see if Mr. Lemon applies, and I'll make that decision at the time.
Is that as easy as you made it sound, like he applies and then it's ultimately the commissioner's decision, or who do you consult?
Well, certainly I'll be consulting with the league office and our legal team. Match manipulation and our match manipulation policy is incredibly important to the integrity of the game, right? And if there are two areas that I think the office of the commissioner has to pay the closest attention to, it is the match manipulation policy and the drug policy. And so we've got to make sure we're taking all of those factors into account.
Now, looking at the Grey Cup announcement, we saw that in 2023, we were going to be having the 2025 Grey Cup in Winnipeg. So about 2.5 years out from the actual event. I mean, there's a lot of planning that needs to go into this. So I'm curious to find out how far out you want to make the announcement for 2027.
I think in an ideal world, it is a 2-year runway. Obviously, we're not hitting that right now. The bid process for the 2027 Grey Cup is about to begin, and so we're going to look forward to see who might be interested in hosting.
I mean, we're in a pretty nice facility right now. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not going to disagree with how nice this facility is. It is incredible.
And give the fans a little bit of inside info. I hope this is okay here. You were picked up and shown around by the president of the Riders, Craig Reynolds.
Yes.
And touring the facility. What were your initial impressions of it?
I truly was amazed. This is a state-of-the-art facility. The attention to detail in this place is second to none. And Craig would mention that, hey, we toured a bunch of NFL stadiums, even Major League Baseball stadiums, other CFL stadiums, making sure, learning and listening and figuring out the great ideas. And we borrowed this from them and we borrowed this from them. So they took the best of a lot of worlds. And I said, hey, that reminds me of me and my media background, where all we do is steal other people's ideas. You look at good ideas and you steal them.
They're borrowed.
Plagiarism is well accepted. But it is. It's a great idea. And they picked such amazing concepts to include. They thought about the fans, they thought about the players, thought about their coaching staff and their team. Really well thought out.
You've been here as a television executive for 2 Grey Cups.
Yes.
I believe it was 2013, 2022.
Correct.
How is it different coming here as commissioner?
Well, I think that in my old role as a media executive, I wanted to make sure that broadcast came off well, that we were setting up the league for success, that we were going to promote well and deliver for the audience at home. I think that I had so much experience at that. I didn't have many nerves. I've got nerves tonight. I'm excited. I feel like I've just completed that mini camp for 5 weeks and I'm ready to go. This is a humbling role to be commissioner of this league. I'm incredibly proud of that, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to deliver for the fans and for our clubs.
And further to that, you had mentioned right off the hop when you took on this new position that you were going to go on a tour of listening, that you were going to hear out all 9 CFL teams, their fans, their fan bases, their front office staff, and really try to get a gauge on what needs to be completed. What have you heard so far?
Well, I've heard a ton of passion. That's the starting point. I met with the entire team here at the Riders yesterday. Some great questions in Q&A. Talked about things ranging from halftime show and to Canadiana. And I say that is a theme. Canadiana has been a theme that's come up across the board. We're living in a time when there's a good sense of patriotism, maybe one of the most heightened sense of patriotism in the last recent memory. We are a game that is played in Canada. We're made in Canada, and all our teams are here in Canada, and we've got to celebrate that. And I think that's one of the key themes I've been hearing.
No expansion talks, I'm sure. No one's been asking about that.
I haven't heard that once, Tegan. It's odd that you bring that up. No, literally every single conversation I've had has had expansion mentioned at least once. And my answer to that is quite straightforward. And Justin, I know you've heard this too. Look, we all would love a 10th team. I would love a 10th team for all the reasons we know that would be amazing, and then work our ways up from there. I think if we have an outstanding 25, if we continue to build and grow momentum, that will encourage and make expansion more viable. But in the meantime, if a group comes to the league office and they've got the financial wherewithal, the political connections, and a stadium plan, we are going to have that conversation.
You mentioned, and Tegan said it, that you're on this 100 days of listening. Mm-hmm. What have you learned so far being in Saskatchewan that you want to try to implement or that you're going to take back to the league office? Like some real tangible stuff.
Well, I'd love to replicate the stadium everywhere, but that might be a little more difficult. Look, how this organization treats their fans and respects their fans, how they treat their own staff, and how they plan for a game, the passion that they know they don't take for granted. There's passion for our league in all of our markets. There's passion for our league across the country, even if you aren't in one of the 9 markets. And probably the passion here is as great as it is anywhere, and they do not take that for granted. And I think that's an important piece for us as we try and marry some of the best things about our league, the involvement of our players in community, the way the accessibility of our players and of our coaching staff and of our league execs. We can't lose sight of that, and we've got to remember that as we look to grow. This stadium is an example and a demonstration of growth, and yet they've still been able to maintain such a wonderful connection with a fan. I think that's a lesson I'm going to take back.
Some of those passionate fans and even people in the league are wondering, what's the salary cap number? Is it set yet at that just over $6 million mark, or is it back down to that 5-6-ish number?
You know what? I've been so excited about this game, I haven't paid attention to that. So I'll get back to you another time on that.
Good deal. Can we get you to pick the game?
You cannot get me to pick the game. Close game right to the end, and a big celebratory victory for whoever wins. Wonderful.
Yeah, now you really can't be biased.
No,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
I can imagine.
How about, I'll get you out on this, some of the new changes at TSN, the way that they're going about Friday Night Football. I'm sure you would have been involved in some of that planning before you left. I was,
but they've taken a lot since I've gone, and they've done much better things since I left. So I've been impressed. I have seen what it doesn't start with, but one of the things that you'll see tomorrow is a new graphics package dedicated to Friday nights. It is spectacular. So the behind-the-scene production values they're putting into it is fantastic. And then a big announcement on stage in Toronto that TSN made today is that Luke Wilson will be live at every stadium every Friday night from the field. And I think Luke's background is going to be an outstanding addition to that broadcast. And so I'm super excited about all of that. I can't speak of that, though, without thinking about Milt Stegall, who lost his son this week. I've known Milt for an awful long time. Obviously, the CFL community has known Milt Stegall for a long time, and to lose a child, I can't imagine anything more devastating than that. And so my heart goes out to Milt, and I know my old team at TSN is mourning, and I know that a lot of CFL fans are mourning with Milt right now, and I just want to say that we're thinking of him and wishing him all the best.
Thoughts and prayers from our broadcast team to go out to the Stegall family. You talk about TSN and how they're revolutionizing the broadcast, giving it a new look. I think there's some things that go on behind the scenes that fans just take for granted. Mm-hmm. Like the production crew I've talked to out here are taking aerial shots of the stadium to make it look cool. Like they're investing, like helicopter shots, drone shots. It looks so great. So can you just take credit for Luke Wilson and all of these changes, or how long does the planning take? Because I think some fans out there think you just sort of snap your finger and you should be able to change it week to week.
I think I should take credit for everything that's good, and if anything doesn't work, it's definitely the new regime.
It's smart.
Yes, it does take a lot of planning. Certainly, the discussions with Luke happened, before I left there. The talk of production values is a discussion every year at budget time when you think we want to invest. And I can tell you that the team over there understands that the product that we take and demonstrate and bring to the country has got to look every bit as good as any other football broadcast from any other league that this country is watching. And I know I took great pride in how those games were brought to Canadians. I know that group continues to take pride in that. And I'll finish by saying the truth, which is they didn't let me in any production meetings. They shut the door and they made all those decisions and said, "Stu, just give me a check."
Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much for stopping by here in the Sports Cage Lounge. We really appreciate that.
Tegan, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, Justin.